In the decade following the devastating attacks of September 11, 2001, the United States launched one of the largest and most complex intelligence manhunts in modern history. Countless CIA analysts, field officers, and counterterrorism units worked around the clock to map every known line of communication connected to Al-Qaeda. Despite years of drone surveillance and global intelligence collection, Osama bin Laden's trail went cold, forcing the U.S. to shift toward tracking secondary figures, couriers, financiers, and family connections to find the man responsible for orchestrating the deadliest terror attack on American soil. The key breakthrough finally emerged from years of fragmented intelligence: the identification of a mysterious courier, known by the alias Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti. Multiple detainee interrogations had hinted that bin Laden continued to rely on a small circle of trusted messengers, rather than modern communication systems. By cross-referencing signals intelligence, travel patterns, and human sources, CIA analysts began to suspect that this elusive courier could be the single most valuable lead remaining in the search for bin Laden. Tracking al-Kuwaiti required extraordinary operational patience. After months of monitoring phone traces and following financial indicators, CIA field teams managed to locate a white Suzuki navigating repeatedly between northern Pakistan and Abbottabad. Its movements were discreet, irregular, and deliberately non-patterned. Yet the consistency with which the vehicle returned to one particular compound caught the attention of senior intelligence officers, prompting deeper surveillance operations across the city. The compound itself was unlike anything else in the neighborhood. Surrounded by towering walls topped with barbed wire, it contained no telephone or internet connections and had unusually high privacy barriers. Residents burned their trash instead of disposing of it, a strong indicator that they wished to avoid leaving any traceable material behind. Satellite images further revealed a balcony area where a tall man appeared occasionally, walking in tight, repetitive patterns. This figure, later nicknamed the Pacer, became central to the CIA's hypothesis. Despite growing confidence, the CIA could not confirm with absolute certainty that the man inside was Osama bin Laden. The intelligence community estimated the probability anywhere between 60 to 80%. President Barack Obama and his national security advisors requested more verification, leading to months of surveillance through covert cameras, aerial imagery, and network analysis. Still, no phone signals or digital footprints emerged, reinforcing the belief that the target intentionally operated under complete communications blackout. To prepare for potential military action, the CIA constructed a full-scale replica of the compound at a classified training facility in the United States. SEAL Team 6 operators rehearsed multiple entry strategies: roof insertion, wall breaching, ladder assaults, and gate demolitions, with each scenario timed and evaluated for noise discipline and efficiency. The rehearsals revealed that the compound's design created vertical choke points, forcing the SEALs to adapt their clearing strategies for narrow staircases and blind corners. Within the White House Situation Room, the National Security Council debated three operational options: a conventional airstrike, a joint mission with Pakistan, or a covert raid conducted by elite Special Operations Forces. After extensive briefings, President Obama approved a plan for a clandestine nighttime raid led by the Naval Special Warfare Development Group known as DevGru. The operation required extraordinary secrecy. Fewer than a few dozen people across the entire U.S. government had access to the mission details. Even within the SEAL teams, only the selected operators were informed, and all training was conducted under the veil of total silence. The strike team would consist of 23 Navy SEAL operators, supported by 2 interpreters, a combat dog handler with a trained Belgian Malinois named Cairo, a CIA language specialist, and multiple helicopter crews. The team was divided into 2 assault elements: Blue Squadron, responsible for primary entry and clearing operations, and Gold Squadron, tasked with securing the perimeter and assisting with upper floor actions. For insertion, the United States selected 2 modified stealth Black Hawk helicopters, engineered to minimize radar visibility and reduce acoustic signature. These helicopters would fly at dangerously low altitudes from Jalalabad, Afghanistan, into Abbottabad. 2 CH-47 Chinook helicopters, carrying additional SEALs and fuel, would wait at an alternate landing zone to support extraction or contingency rescue. On the night of May 1, 2011, the Blackhawks lifted off in total radio silence. The pilots followed a pre-planned route, weaving through mountain valleys, to avoid detection by Pakistani radar systems. The SEALs sat tightly packed inside the aircraft, checking their HK-416 rifles, night vision goggles, and breaching tools while mentally rehearsing each phase of the mission. The atmosphere was tense but controlled. The operators had trained relentlessly for this moment. As the helicopters crossed into Pakistani airspace, the pilots executed complex maneuvers to stay beneath radar coverage, sometimes flying close enough to the ground that dust and debris swirled violently beneath them. In the rear helicopters, backup teams prepared for the possibility that something could go wrong during insertion: mechanical failure, local resistance, or even detection by Pakistani military aircraft. Upon reaching Abbottabad, the lead Black Hawk descended into the compound as planned. However, an unexpected aerodynamic phenomenon caused by the confined courtyard and high walls created a loss of lift. The helicopter began to settle too quickly, forcing the pilot to perform a controlled emergency landing. The aircraft tilted and impacted the ground, but thanks to exceptional piloting skills, no SEALs were injured. Immediately after landing, the SEALs executed their contingency plan, fanning out from the aircraft to secure the courtyard. Meanwhile, the second Black Hawk inserted the remaining assault team over an outer wall using fast ropes. The operators moved swiftly, identifying key entry points and initiating breaching operations using small explosive charges designed to minimize noise and structural damage. As Blue Team breached the main entrance, they moved through the first floor with precision, identifying individuals inside, securing rooms, and avoiding crossfire angles. Intelligence had warned the SEALs that the compound likely contained multiple adult males and possibly weapons. Every doorway was treated as a potential ambush point, and the operators maintained strict communication through their encrypted radio nets. Gold Team secured the outer perimeter of the compound, watching for potential reinforcements or interference from local residents. Meanwhile, Cairo, the military working dog, assisted operators by checking for hidden rooms, escape tunnels, or concealed threats. The SEALs worked with an efficiency born from countless hours of training, clearing the lower levels before ascending toward the upper floors. Intelligence suggested that if Bin Laden were present, he would likely be located on the 3rd floor, protected by reinforced doors and loyal couriers. The staircase leading upward was narrow, a tactical disadvantage for the assault team, forcing them to move slowly and deliberately. The operators knew they were approaching the most critical point of the mission, and their communication shifted to short, precise verbal cues delivered through their night vision headsets. Upon reaching the 3rd floor hallway, Blue Team encountered the final set of barriers leading to the private room where intelligence strongly indicated the high-value target was hiding. As rehearsed, the SEALs used a small explosive charge to open the door while maintaining tight formation behind the breacher. The moment required absolute discipline. Any deviation from protocol could jeopardize the mission. Inside the room, the SEALs confronted a rapidly escalating situation in which they perceived a direct threat. Acting under the established rules of engagement and following tactical judgment shaped by years of operational experience, the operators neutralized the threat. The action unfolded in seconds, marking the culmination of a decade-long pursuit. Once the room was secured, the SEALs immediately began the identification process. They measured the height of the target, compared facial features with known photographs, and transmitted preliminary results to the CIA specialist on the ground. Although initial confirmation was strong, definitive verification would require DNA analysis conducted after extraction. Meanwhile, other SEAL operators swept the upper and lower floors to ensure no remaining threats were present inside the compound. They also rounded up non-combatants and ensured their safety. Operators proceeded to photograph and document the scene for record-keeping, following procedures required for high-value missions. A dedicated intelligence collection team began gathering laptops, hard drives, USB devices, notebooks, and any potential digital storage units. This material would later prove to be one of the most valuable intelligence hauls in counter-terrorism history, containing insights into Al-Qaeda's future plans, communication strategies, and global network contacts. With all objectives met inside the building, the SEALs turned their attention to the crashed Black Hawk. Because the aircraft contained classified stealth technology, the team used controlled explosives to destroy sensitive components. The detonation was carefully calculated to prevent civilian casualties while ensuring no foreign entity could recover the technology. The remaining Black Hawk prepared for extraction. Operators loaded the collected intelligence material, regrouped the assault teams, and secured all personnel. Cairo was lifted safely aboard, and mission leaders conducted a final head count before giving the signal to depart. The SEALs had spent less than 40 minutes inside the compound, remarkably close to the projected timeline. As the Black Hawk lifted off, the pilots accelerated toward the Afghan border, maintaining low altitude to avoid detection. The Chinooks, still waiting at an alternate site, were notified that their support was no longer needed. The flight back carried a sense of intense focus rather than celebration. The team remained alert until safely reaching friendly territory. Upon landing at the U.S. base in Jalalabad, the SEALs transferred the collected intelligence devices to awaiting analysts. DNA samples were rushed to specialists for expedited testing, offering the final confirmation that the mission's primary objective had indeed been achieved. Within hours, President Obama received verified confirmation that Osama Bin Laden had been positively identified. In the Situation Room, senior officials watched live updates of the mission's conclusion, the tension gradually giving way to a sense of historic accomplishment. The president prepared to address the nation. In his address, Obama announced that a U.S. Special Operations team had conducted a successful mission targeting the Al-Qaeda leader. Although details of the assault were initially withheld, the message resonated worldwide, signaling the end of one of the longest-running manhunts in modern history. Crowds gathered in multiple U.S. cities to express relief, closure, and national unity. Operation Neptune's Spear came to be regarded as one of the most meticulously planned and precisely executed missions in U.S. Special Operations history. It marked the culmination of 10 years of relentless intelligence work, tactical innovation, and global coordination. For the operators who carried it out, the mission stood as a defining moment, one built on discipline, preparation, and the pursuit of justice following a national tragedy.